Welcome back. On today's episode, we are looking back on the year 2018, recapping our top newsmakers that matter, top issues that matter, and highlighting the different communities we visited over the past year. The year 2018 for Kentucky news and politics was an active one with many high-profile issues in the headlines. Each week on this program, we have taken a look at those issues and spoken with experts in the field, and leaders in the legislative, business, and nonprofit worlds joined us to talk about the changes happening in our state, the progress we're making, and what we still need to do to address moving forward. Now, some of the high-profile issues we covered in 2018 range from the opioid crisis, homelessness in Kentucky, the prospects of bringing an NBA team to Louisville, the medical marijuana debate, school safety concerns, pension reform, and the list goes on and on. Here's a look back at some of our top issues covered on In Focus Kentucky from 2018.
It was a very hot topic, controversial throughout most of the session, but the fact is our pension systems are the worst funded in America. We're either tied or below Illinois, and that is not something to be proud of. We've been working on pension reform in the Senate now for about 11 years, and we finally got some willing partners in the House of Representatives and in Governor Bevin in a desire to tackle some of these tough issues to try to make sure that we can put our pension systems on a path to sustainability while at the same time keeping the promises made to our retirees, our current employees.
So 14 started dating, 16 married, and then at 18 you had your first child. So again, the experience of just having to deal with these different traumatic situations, reaction, and then reflection looking back on your first child, birth of your first child.
Right. So, you know, when my daughter was born, I did not know what I was doing as a mother. And, you know, the things that I felt were very natural, you know, I felt that I should nurse her, you know, I thought breastfeeding was important. And, you know, the things that I would try to do with her, my perpetrator was always very much against, and I was made to feel as though there was no way I was able to take care of her.
I think we're going to become the Silicon Valley, or what I call the Silicon Holler of hemp. We have the perfect agronomic environment. We have the best farmers anywhere that I've seen, and we get to recycle the tobacco industry to repurpose it for this industry. I see a huge gain for Kentucky overall economically in that we have the natural resources required to do this, and that's something that Western states just simply don't have. So I see a huge gain across a number of fronts by Kentucky taking the lead in this industry. It's the right tool for the job to put Kentucky in a global marketplace for CBD production. So we invested in the right sized piece of equipment to support our pilot program. And what's happening is it's a biochemical reaction using pressure and carbon dioxide in order to extract the material that we want out of our plant.
So like I've been buried alive, I've been pistol whipped, I've been beat with belts so bad they could barely tell what nationality I was.
Summer says she was abused and a victim of sexual assault as a child and decided to run away from home at 15 years old.
And that's when I got kidnapped. But then because I didn't get any kind of counseling, you know, no one said, hey, let's go, you know, make sure you're okay. And because of all the abuse, I just thought that's really all I was worth. You know, I thought that people having sex with me or using me was really all I was worth. And I know that that's different now. You know, I know that that's not all that I'm worth. I know that I'm worth so much more. And I just want people to understand, like, we're not what we've been through. That's not our final destination. That's just the beginning of an amazing future.
In the past, there's been a number of attempts to bring the NBA to Louisville, but it was always kind of Bruce Miller working by himself and unfortunately for him, funding the project out of his own pocket. When this group came to me a couple of months ago, I realized that there was a real groundswell of support for having an NBA franchise in Louisville, and better yet, they were very well funded. Some of the leading business and civic leaders in Louisville are involved in this, and the Commonwealth. And you know, we now have the resources to be able to go out and really do a good job of lining up what we need to have an NBA team in Louisville.
Things that people wouldn't normally think about that cause homelessness is domestic violence. So the richest person in Lexington can be homeless tomorrow just based on domestic violence. And then there's also affordable housing issues. So people live paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, and one crisis, one missed paycheck can send somebody into homelessness.
Stay with us on In Focus Kentucky. We travel to many communities throughout the state, and we'll revisit some of those locations coming up. And how many times have I worn a pocket square this year? You can keep those guesses coming in. We're still tallying the numbers. But before we get to that, what's the latest weather forecast in your area? You'll find out in your Weather on the Ones after this break.